It's the last one for the week. Good morning and welcome to the program. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago.
Williams, thank you for joining us. And here are top stories for the moment. Oil prices fell this morning after dropping 3% a day earlier as coronavirus cases remained high in major oil consumer India. And a key fuel pipeline in the United States resumed operations after being shot due to a cyber attack. Crude oil futures are down 35 cents at $66.70 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude futures was down 28 cents at $63.54 a barrel. Prices came under pressure as a broader surge in commodity prices, labor shortage, and much stronger than expected U.S. consumer prices data this week stoked inflation are concerns that could force the Federal Reserve to raise interest rates.
And back here, Nigeria's economy is expected to follow the path of crude oil prices after performances of the domestic economy remained moderate following recovery in the fourth quarter of 2020. According to the CBN's January 2021 economic report, growth is expected to receive further boost this year following the exit from recession in the fourth quarter. It adds that with the good use of the 2.3 trillion naira economic stimulus package, the timely passage and implementation of the 2021 budget, as well as an anticipated stability in crude oil prices, recovery will remain positive. The growth performance of the economy will be captured in the first quarter of 2021 GDP report expected on May the 24th. We look forward to that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Well, a global coalition of public development banks has committed a deepening cooperation to boost investment opportunities across Africa to improve the continent's recovery post-COVID-19. A statement by the African Development Bank says heads of banks want to adopt new financial solutions to unlock the potentials of African financial institutions to promote sustainable development investments. That's that attention will be given to the unbanked, expanding access to finance, savings and insurance products, as well as services to ensure financial inclusion across the continent.
And earlier this month, the Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele unveiled the first maize pyramid and flagged up the 2021 maize wet season farming under the CBN Maize Association of Nigeria Anchor Borrowers Program. At that event, the governor of the Central Bank urged youths in Nigeria to embrace agriculture, declaring the bank's readiness to support youths that are willing to engage in agriculture. We will have this conversation with an agricultural consultant and the chairman, Agri Group of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. African Farmer Morgaji. Next, this is Business Morning. All right, we're happy to have you on our show this morning, Mr. African Farmer Morgaji.
Thank you
for sparing your time for us.
Thank you for having me again.
So this is not the first time youths are being, wooed into the agri sector, but we have seen the level of insecurity in Nigeria. So one would wonder what's the encouragement there for an average youth to actually want to get into agriculture?
Well, I've always said this, and gradually we're beginning to sound like a broken record.
Absolutely.
That when we want to talk to the youths, we need to first look at the psychology of the youth. Now, it's a good thing that the CBN is moving towards engaging food security in maize. However, in this day and age, it's not a pyramid. The average youth cannot align with pyramid. In that same report, the governor of Jigawa said the pyramids he used to read in the book. So if the governor used to read in the book...
Remember the groundnut pyramid?
The groundnut pyramid that he used to read in the book. So if the governor used to read it, you are now bringing the pyramid back to the youths. They are used to seeing technology. In this day and age, I grew up on my dad's farm having combined harvester tractor. The same harvester, small, harvest, shell, pours it into another equipment and bags. We need to show them a smooth transition, not this bag, this pyramid. And I said something. This is the era of climate change. Are we planning with climate change? It could have rained. And if it rained on 50,000 bags,
I was actually wondering if, what would happen.
Climate change just makes it that the rain will fall when you least expect. So what will happen if it rained that day? 50,000 bags would have gone bad. So we need to be proactive. We need to be thinking, with the period. So I wasn't happy with what I saw, the pyramids. The maize today should be in silos. That's when the youths will want to get interested. Or, at worst, starting with what you have, in the warehouses.
Well, how many silos do we even have?
So, that is another conversation about silos. So, federal government concessioned out the silos. But guess what? It was not the Maize Association of Nigeria that got it. It was not the Soya Bean Association. The associations that needs it did not go and bid for it. It was gotten by private sector individuals who didn't know anything about it. And that's why we are having challenges with having maize, because they gave them, they ought to have filled it up producing maize. So many of them could not, meet that demands because they didn't understand that value chain. So we're saying we want youths to come, but we're not projecting what will appeal to the youths. We're projecting what will appeal to the old men, not even the 40, between 40 and 50. None of it is appealing to them.
Yeah, but if looking back, talking about the old people, yes, most times they look at agriculture as a thing for the old people, a thing for perhaps the poor in the village that would have to go to work, go to the farms before they feed their families. Now, I remember the president of the AFDB, Akinwumi Adesina, when he was the Minister of Agriculture, he often would talk about making agriculture a business.
Yes.
Are we there? Are we beginning to make agriculture a business? How do we begin to really make agriculture a business? Because I agree with him. That's the only time we can begin to see, the progress that we really want to see in that sector.
We're talking about making agric a business to the business professionals, working class professionals, and the farmers. It's talk. The actions, the interventions we are giving out, 2 bags, 4 bags of fertilizer, very low quality seeds, all this has nothing to do with moving us towards the trajectory of becoming, making agric a business. It's still talk. The action is still old. So for us to begin to do this, media, I've always said it, the Ministry of Agriculture, CBN, they are playing low on media. It is the media that helps you project what you want, not you. So until they see, getting agric to be a business is a value chain. Media plays a major component. And I've always said it. When you see United Nations project, FAO project, media is about 20 to 30% of that budget. But you don't see media in all those budgets. So that value chain of publicity and awareness is being played low on. And until that is priority, we can't get there.
Well, I want to believe that they're actually doing their best in terms of engaging the media to see what perhaps they're doing. But I seem to agree with you that perhaps they are not doing enough, or they are not taking the right track that should actually, give us the effect, or get the effect that they really want to achieve.
So they are engaging the media. But is the media putting the plan for them to engage the people? 2 different things. They're engaging the media. The media is always with them. But are they asking for the media to say, how can we get this? You are the expert. We are not the expert. So that's where it's missing.
Well, this is the essence of this program. And I'm sure they will be listening to you. And that is why you are here, to actually redirect their focus in terms of policies there. All right, let's look at some kind of linkage between agriculture and the industry. Is there any sort of anything like that?
Yeah, so currently you have the multinationals involved in the baby cereals, food. It's agric. All they use is agric. There's a particular brand that uses only Nigerian corn. They don't use foreign corn. So there's that linkage. Most of the companies that brew alcohol, majority of them now use cassava. Yeah.
Interesting.
Some beer companies in the country now use 100% cassava. So there is an increased demand for agricultural products by these big organizations, but we're not matching to that supply, which may eventually push them, to import. However, the economy, the price of dollar going up is also not helping these big companies. So what's going to happen to them? They're likely going to shut down or reduce their production. So it's a lot of call on government and private sector to get this together.
All right, the CBN governor said the Apex Bank is ready to support the youths, and they're willing to, are willing to actually engage in agriculture. But what kind of support do you think is needed at this point to actually, attract the youths at this point?
So it's not, I don't believe our focus should be attracting the youths. Our focus should be to build the structures that the youths will embrace. So take, for instance, now, a key component is they are the seed companies. We have many struggling seed companies. The CBN ought to fund the seed companies so that you and I, because the government policy allows even government staff to go into agriculture.
Yeah.
So when we are going into that, we have good seeds so that every investment will come out. So the CBN needs to fund, not have meetings. They've had a lot of meetings, and let me say this so that it doesn't look like I'm playing them down. This CBN has played a lot of active roles. You can't take it away from them. In years, they've been very active, they've been very proactive, and the CBN governor has been, in the farms more than any other CBN governor wanting it to happen. But we need the seed companies to work. We need the fertilizer companies to work. We need the agro input. We need them to fund those people. And gradually, the youths will gravitate towards it because you will get the results that your counterparts are getting.
In other words, to activate the value chain.
Yes, we need to activate that value chain. The youths are willing now. They are willing. The economy is making every parent say go into agriculture. Every uncle, auntie. The private sector has been primed. The awareness that, the private and government has given to agriculture is unprecedented. It's just that structure, that infrastructure, the inputs, the value chain, we just need to put it together, and government cannot do it alone.
And then there's also the issue of financing and, of course, the issue of land.
Land is not an issue.
Okay.
It is productivity that is an issue.
Okay.
According to FAO 2019 statistics on maize production in Nigeria, we still produce about 1.61 tons per hectare, less than 2. But another government report says we're producing about 2.3 metric tons. So even if we pick 2, Ghana, they get 4. West Africa, they get 4. So that 50,000 bags that was celebrated was probably produced by, that's like 5 million metric tons. Okay. That's like almost, it's about almost 2.5 million tons, hectares. So what does that mean? That means that instead of using 1.2 million hectares, we use 2.5 million hectares. So it's productivity. Productivity, that's what we need to do. We need to move them from 2 tons or 1.6 tons to 4 tons to 6 tons. When we use imported seeds, we get 6 to 8 tons. I play very good in the fresh maize value chain. So these things need to be sorted out.
All right, the CBN governor reiterated the bank's opposition on importation of maize, but do we have enough maize to actually go around?
You see, and I'll bring this data out. July 13, we placed the ban, or we restricted forex going to maize. Now, March 7, 2020, we had a seminar with major cooperatives of oil and gas, and we predicted that the price of maize per ton was going to be 145,000, and it was 50,000 per ton then. So COVID had nothing to do with that increase in price. However, I strongly believe, based on what happened after, that the advisors did not do their homework well and gave a wrong data that the CBN worked on. So 45 days later, they unbanned what was banned. So the question is, we don't have enough. It's a good initiative for us to want to produce, but it takes a long time. And when we plan with climate change, what we need to do is not to go out to tell people that, hey, we are restricting Forex on this. Don't forget, the farmer is there, the government and the processors. It's the middleman that you threaten their income. So once they can't import again, so what do? They jack up the price. And when they jack up the price, that's why the price of feed has doubled. And many of the livestock sector, they are going down. So maize, the same attention given to rice needs to be given to, I said it 6 years ago on this program, you know.
Well, we saw throughout the week, except for today, we saw on the global markets there's been some kind of super cycle for commodities, particularly talking about maize here. So how can Nigeria really take advantage of this super cycle in prices in the global commodities market? I mean, we are talking about also diversifying and shoring up our foreign exchange earnings.
So I'm still waiting for a roundtable that will bring the chambers of agriculture, chamber of commerce all together, and some key players where the ministry will just give the direction. The CBN says we are going to fund this, and we work together. It's only synergy that can make us, embrace the CBN, the Ministry of Agriculture, but most importantly, not the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Water Resources. We don't hear about them. They don't bring them to the conversation like they should, because climate change is real. So it's the Ministry of Water Resources that can ensure our sustainability. So as we talk about the Ministry of Agriculture, it's a marriage. Ministry of Agric and Ministry of Water Resources, we need to bring them together. Not merging them, but making sure they work together.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. African Farmer, for sparing your time for us today. We do appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, after the break, Branch Nigeria says it's positioning itself at the forefront of digital banking in Nigeria. We will be speaking with the Managing Director, Dayo Ademola. Stay with us. This is Business Morning. Well, digital banking revolution in Nigeria, which started with the introduction of automated teller machines and mobile telephony in the early 1990s and 2000s, no doubt has now become even more imperative with the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has left in its wake the need to maintain social distancing in public places. Branch, one of the leading instant loan apps, says it's positioning itself at the forefront of digital banking in Nigeria, determined to significantly improve the experience that Nigerians have with their services and offer better value. We are being joined by the Managing Director of Branch Nigeria, Dayo Ademola. Thank you very much, Dayo, for joining us.
Good morning. Great to have you.
So tell us about Branch.
So Branch has been in Nigeria for over 3 years. We, as you said, have been an instant loan digital app for the last 3 years. We're now transitioning to a full-scale digital bank. And on top of the fact that, we've been offering loans, continue to offer loans to our customers, we're now offering investments and a wallet account as well. So with our wallet, you have free transfers to any financial institution in Nigeria. And with our investments, we're giving our customers a 20% per annum interest on whatever investments they put with us.
So that's a transfer with no cost?
Transfer with no cost. It's 100% free.
Wow, interesting. Well, there are a lot of apps, and when it comes to money, people are kind of wary.
Sure.
What stands Branch apart from that?
So a couple of things. One, we are fully licensed by the Central Bank of Nigeria. So, our regulator is keeping a very close watch on us and what we're doing. The second thing as well is Branch is backed by some of the most globally recognized investors in the world, like Andreessen Horowitz, who were early backers of Twitter, of Facebook, and are board members of those organizations as well as Visa, the global financial organization as well. So we have very solid investor backing. We're fully regulated in Nigeria, so your funds are safe with us.
Well, how do you handle loan defaulters?
We communicate with them and, give everybody an opportunity to pay us back. We are extremely respectful of our customers. We don't do some of the things that, some other people do, contacting people in your contact list, sending you nasty messages or calling. We do none of that. Very respectful of our customers. If we have defaulters, you're contacted directly and given an opportunity to pay through various channels.
Now, you say you have been in Nigeria for 3 years.
Yes.
Now, what has been the track record?
In Nigeria, we've disbursed over 3 million loans in the last 3 years. So, we've been at it for a while and, have been doing it quite well.
Okay, so I have the app and I'm stuck at 28,000. So how do you increase your level of loans?
So that it's determined algorithmically, right?
Okay.
And we have a loan ladder. So the more you're approved, the more you borrow from us and pay back on time, you move up the loan ladder and your amounts increase as well.
Okay,
At
so
what
I don't
interest
borrow
rate?
that much then. What interest rate?
It varies. So it starts at, about 2% a month is what we charge month on month.
Now, you talked about a free unlimited money transfer and, of course, the leading 20% investment return in Nigeria. So how does that really work? And how can you afford all of this?
Sure. It's like an interesting question. I've been asked this a lot. So it's a couple of things, the branch advantage. One is our technology allows us to deliver services to our customers more cheaply than, for example, a commercial bank, right? We don't have the same cost structure as a commercial bank. We're fully digital. Everything is done digitally. We're not running branches across the country. So we're able to operate at a sort of, more efficiently, I would say, than a lot of banks do. The second thing as well is our investors are taking a long view to the business in Nigeria and are backing us to be able to, give the best possible returns to our customers at this time.
So how do you manage, because there are a lot of lending platforms at this in the market right now. How do you handle the competition?
I mean, the best advertising for branch is the word of mouth of our customers, right? So we are rated above a 4.4 rating globally and in Nigeria on the Google Play Store. Our customers have very good things to say about us. We are able to, deliver a better user experience to our users. So that's basically it.
So what are the source of funding for branch?
So we, like I said, we have both equity and debt investment in our organization by, globally recognized investors. We, raise debt capital in Nigeria as well. And, the returns that we get from our lending business.
All right, you talked about being licensed, but how are your services regulated in Nigeria at the moment?
It's regulated by the CBN. So we currently have a finance company license from the CBN, which gives us the right to, be fund managers, which is why we can now launch our investment product. We've been a licensed money lender in Nigeria for the last 3 years as well. So fully regulated.
Okay, so now Nigerian economy, of course, is vibrant with opportunities and, of course, challenges. So what role do you see branch playing in developing the economy, especially in the area of convenient and digital banking, as well as now that we're talking about financial inclusion?
Right. So financial inclusion is a subject I'm passionate about. My previous career has been, I've been working in this space for a really long time. So there's a couple of things. As far as, helping to develop the economy as branch, most of our customers, a good chunk of our customers are actually business owners and use the branch loans to be able to fund their businesses, right? Whether it's buying and selling, whatever it is to invest in their businesses. So that's how we're playing our part. The second thing as well is bringing the convenience of digital banking, of banking services to you in your pocket versus, you having to deal with going to a physical location and all of that. And also, why we say branch is better than your bank, we're giving you the best possible returns on your funding. 20% returns on your investments, the ability to do free transfers. If you're with typically a commercial bank, that comes with a fee. And we've taken all of that away to deliver the best possible value. So that's how, convenience, best value, that's how we bring financial inclusion to
Okay,
to
what's
customers.
your customer base like, and who can use a branch?
So branch is available on the Google Play Store only. So, if you are in Nigeria and you have an Android phone, you are a potential branch customer.
Any age?
Any age.
All right. Yeah. My colleague here talked about having a branch app.
Yeah, I have the app, and
Now,
I'm stuck at
for
28,000.
someone who
Yeah.
doesn't have, someone like me, okay, how do I get on board? How do I, launch into it?
It's very, very simple. If you go onto the Google Play Store, you search for Branch Nigeria, download the app. It takes you about 2 minutes to put in your required information, your BVN, take a picture, just so we have our KYC covered. And then you're immediately a branch customer. You can fund your wallet from an existing account that you have, either through transfer or using a debit card, and you're off to the races.
No face-to-face interaction at all?
Nothing of the sort.
Okay, but
from your wallet, you can fund your investment. If you get a loan, it's disbursed into your wallet. And
there's this issue of, in digital banking, the problem of hackers and online fraud. How do you guard against this?
So Branch has some of the best, your data is secured by some of the best security anywhere in the world, right? So we're very, very, very conscious about protection, data protection. We're compliant with, all the Nigerian regulations on how your data should be protected. We're compliant globally with that because, Branch operates across the globe. So we're operating in Africa, in West Africa, East Africa, and India as well. So your data is secure and protected.
Interesting. Well, you said you offer 50 Naira bonus every time you make a deposit of 300 Naira or more into your wallet. That's 10 times a month. How does a branch make this work?
So again, it's basically a thank you for banking with Branch. So we've created a bonus program just to incentivize people to come on board. That's effectively what it is.
Now, if I'm to be your customer and I have a problem, I have an issue, and how do I get across to you, and how quick is your response to attending to any issue that is brought before you? Because that's usually a challenge.
Yeah, agreed. So we have real live human beings responding to customer complaints. You can complain in-app. You can send us an email or contact us on social media, and our response time is less than 10 minutes, 24 hours a day.
All right. I guess my final question would be, when are you going to increase my limit?
Let's take that offline. But
offline.
Let's take it offline. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's algorithmically determined.
Exactly.
The more you borrow, the more you pay, the more you move up the loan ladder.
That means I don't borrow that much.
And then, of course, you've been in Nigeria for 3 years. Yes, gradually coming up with different plans. What are your future plans?
So, this is it for us, really. We just want to be your bank. So whatever it is, whatever services it is that you would get at, a bank, you will be able to get that with Branch. And we'll just continue to iterate and improve our products so that you're able to, all your financial services that you need to carry out, you can do that with Branch. So that's effectively our roadmap.
All right. Thank you very much, Dayo Demola, for sharing your vision. And of course, your mission in Nigeria here with us. We do
Thank you so much.
Your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. All right, just before we talk the market, let's quickly look at again what happened at the global oil market today as prices fell this morning after dropping about 3% a day earlier as coronavirus cases remained high in major oil consumer India and as a key fuel pipeline in the United States resumed operations after being shut due to a cyber attack. Brent crude oil futures were down 35 cents at $66.70 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude was down 28 cents at $63.54 a barrel. Prices came under pressure as a broader surge in commodity prices, labor shortage, and much stronger than expected U.S. consumer prices data this week stoked inflation concerns that could force the Federal Reserve to raise interest rates. All right, it's time for our morning calls to the market. After the holiday, let's get analyst recommendations. Anita, how optimistic are investors returning to the markets after the holiday?
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Jimmy. Well, I would say that investors are still, the market was on holiday on Wednesday and Thursday, And then, of course, before we went on that holiday, the market, take a look at the figures here. It was up by 0.18%. That's in addition to the previous gain that we saw on Monday. And then, of course, it's not all about the numbers. We also had the announcement of a board change at the Nigerian breweries, where the current managing director, Yodi Boribel, will be resigning at the end of July 30th to be precise, and he will be replaced by Hans Esadi, who's joining the company from Heineken. So now the shares of Nigerian breweries closed was unchanged at 54 naira 80 kobo. But now for today's trading, we saw the market in the green position. So now that means that the bull is still galloping into the positive territory. And then, of course, just like I told, we spoke yesterday about the market, that the market traders are still optimistic, that share prices are still going up. The NGX All Share Index is also expected to continue in the recovery which started last week. I'm sure we're not too... Okay, so now to talk more about the markets, let's join Afolabi Gberu. He's an equities broker at Stanbic IBTC Stockbrokers. Good morning, Afolabi.
Good morning, mate. Thank you for having me.
Okay, you're welcome. So now, the last check on the Nigerian stock, on the NGX, showed that the all-share index was in the green. So can you tell us what are the stocks driving this positive trend, which started within the last 3 sessions? And then what's your outlook for the market at the close of today's trading?
Okay, cool. So the market is actually very quiet. It started up very quiet this morning. The volumes are still relatively low. I expect that a few of the investors are still in holiday mode, I guess. But we're expecting that activities will start to pick up, towards as the session goes on. Activities on Monday and Tuesday were driven by trades in the banking sector, especially the likes of Zenith, where we saw positive, sentiments driving the share price up, as well as decent volumes trading in that name. So we expect to see, potentially that will continue in the session today.
Okay, so Afolabi, so I think I'll share that optimism with you, but let me allow you to continue your trading while we wait for the market numbers at the close of today's trading. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Okay, so now from the equities market, we move over to the unlisted securities where, well, we're still talking about how we closed the previous session before the holidays. The NASD, let's call it NASD, its index was down 2.14% on Tuesday. Market cap still down, bearish. The volume, value, and deals also bearish. Then over to the FMDQ securities market, we saw the best preferred was the 18th of July 2034. It had about 12 deals worth about 5 billion naira. Then moving over to the treasury bills market of that exchange, we saw the August 28th of October 2021. It had the best, it was the most preferred there. And then also moving to the CBN, for the CBN bills, well, it had been lackluster for about 2 sessions. It's been negative, but at the close of Tuesday, it recorded, well, some transactions there. 6 deals for the 31st of March 2021, and then it was a flip for the OMO securities. No activity there. So now for some reasons there's been a bearish performance at the fixed income market, but it's like investors are actually changing gears, moving their portfolio from there to other segments of the market, preferably the equities market. So that's performance on the fixed income market. Well, it's only traders that will give us an analysis of what to expect, especially at the close of today's trading. So, all right, so now let's join Dumebi Udegbunam, who's a fixed income trader. Okay, I understand that we don't have Dumebi at the moment. So now still talking about the market, the fixed income market, of course, at some point, it had been stealing the shine from the equities market, but at the moment, it's just been a little bit lackluster. And then, of course, for today's trading session, we're still keeping our fingers crossed with bated breath on what's going to happen, because, of course, you know, the markets are usually not, you can't predict the market. You can't, it's just anything can happen. Just when you expect that it's going to be a positive, it could turn the other way around. And then, of course, when you expect it to be negative, it could be vice versa. So now that's it. So.
Absolutely, Anita. Well, I guess we'll have to keep our fingers crossed. And for me, I think both markets would actually still remain quiet, particularly with the major data that is being expected next week and the other week, talking about the inflation data and, of course, the first quarter GDP numbers. I'm sure investors are waiting and watching. And don't forget that the Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee will be meeting soon, and that should be 24th and 25th. So I guess all the investors want to hear is the policy direction that can actually spur their appetite to, whichever market that they would want to go to. But then, if I may ask, I know that the earnings seasons are gradually coming to an end. Just wondering, are we still expecting more companies to come up with earnings even as we enter into a new week?
Well, I guess the earnings season, just like you rightly said, the first quarter to be precise, it's gradually winding down. We had quite a flurry of earnings over a couple of weeks ago. And then, of course, we had the market has not been really reacting that much, or besides the last few days that we saw. But at least before, from next week, we should still be able to see a string of first quarter earnings hit the market. But of course, we just don't know how investors are going to react to that, to those figures, especially when it's coming from small cap equities. So let's keep our eyes crossed for next week.
We will keep our fingers crossed, Anita. Thank you. All right, we'll take another quick break, and when we come back, we'll do an opening call to London. All right, let's cross over now to London for opening calls with Juliana. Good morning, Juliana. Well, the Governor of the Bank of England, Andrew Bailey, has sought to calm financial market fears over rising inflation, but seems to be at odds with the bank's outgoing chief economist, Andy Haldane, warning of price inflation above 2% target. How is Bailey's statement being digested?
Well, inflation has been the topic of much discussion, hasn't it, over the past couple of weeks? We know that lockdown is beginning to ease. There's lots of pent-up demand, particularly driven by America because of that stimulus package. And then, of course, a couple of days ago, we got that much higher than expected CPI data. The big question on everybody's lips is this upward trajectory going to last? And according to the Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey, no, it will not. In the month of February, the Bank of England forecast that inflation would peak at 1.9% by the end of the year, although some economists, including the outgoing Deputy Bank of England Governor Andy Haldane, suspect that it will pass the 2%. Bailey was speaking yesterday to members of the public, and one of the reasons why he did believe that perhaps some people are being overly cautious. One is because it's just 1 month of data we had from America. Even though it's a lot, we do know that markets do like to go into panic when very small things do happen. And second, more nationally, he was looking at the unemployment data, still pretty low at 4.9%, but because there is still so much economic uncertainty, rather than people rushing out to spend, he is expecting that there will be a gradual spend, and that there are still going to be a little bit of anxiety about the labour market, about money maintaining in your purse. So he's telling everybody to calm down. And to be fair, we did actually get a similar statement from a member of the Federal Reserve yesterday, saying that the Federal Reserve are not thinking of raising interest rates anytime soon. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. And talking about easing the lockdown, it looks like we may not be able to take our planned trip to Portugal, as the government says it's yet to decide whether it will allow visits from UK holidaymakers as it extends its state of calamity until May 30. But if you are a football fan, perhaps you may be able to go to the planned UEFA Champions League final on May 29th. Incidentally, I'm not. So what do we do?
Yeah, this is a story which I'm sure is causing a lot of concern, not just for the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, probably millions of Manchester City and I believe Chelsea supporters who were hoping to jet into Porto for the Champions League final on the 29th of May, actually been moved from Turkey, which is now on the government's red list. They thought Portugal would be safe because it's on a green list, but alas, the Portuguese government have said, you need to hold steady because we're extending our state of calamity, which basically means you can't come into the country. And if you do, I think they do have some similar measures as to what we have here in Britain, that you've got to stay in a designated Portuguese hotel for a few days. This is causing lots of concern, not just for football fans, who I believe UEFA are given 12,000 tickets to, but for the tens of thousands of British holiday makers who thought they were pretty swift and smart and decided to push for a Portuguese holiday. That actually sent up the prices for air tickets and hotel destinations by about 100%. So there is lots of calls for concern. I do believe there are going to be discussions between tourist ministers here, so that's Grant Shapps, and tourist officials in Portugal. I believe perhaps there could potentially be some sort of travel corridor, but this is only as it pertains to the Champions League final, where there would be a chartered flight. So you would come out of a separate gate at the airport, be able to go to this match and come back on the same day. That's what I'm hearing, but of course we all have to wait and see. Such a shame for those football fans. I'm not one of them, I've got to confess, Jimmy.
All right. Well, thank God it's Friday, but we'll still have more update from you later in the day.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Okay, let's look at the crypto market now. Ladiwell, we are seeing a crypto market cacophony. That's what I call it. Billionaires push back at Elon Musk over Bitcoin while traders are fuming. Meanwhile,
yes.
Binance, the world's biggest cryptocurrency exchange, is under investigation by the U.S. Justice Department and Internal Revenue Service after that's Colonial Pipeline was set to have paid hackers nearly $5 million in ransom for Bitcoin. Not a good week for the crypto
not a good week. Not a good week. This is actually, you know how we talk about alt season? Well, this is FUD season.
That's your word.
FUD. They're spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And that's the easiest way to pull back any market. Market cap, $2.24 trillion, down about 3.10%. 24-hour volume, $271.67 billion, traded down 11%. Bitcoin dominance still going down. 40.94%, down about 0.29% there. Price of Bitcoin at 8 a.m., 48,923, down 4%. But now I think it's trading about 50K at this moment. 24-hour volume, 75.84. Let's look at charts now. $50,124. Key place to watch here, and to watch this 48,000. It's been ranging around there for a while now, and we see a lot of accumulation going on right now. So you might see a spike in the price of Bitcoin any moment from now with this cross on the MACD, and it's actually oversold right now, the RSI. So we'll keep watching that price. Price of Ethereum, 3,806, down 4.52%. Let's talk to Michael Naji now, digital market analyst. Hello, Michael. Hello, Michael.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good morning. Well, it's a season, fourth season, with Elon Musk talking about concerns with Bitcoin mining, and we have the issue with Binance being investigated. It's fourth season. What do you expect going forward now?
You're 100% right. It's fourth season. I've heard this before. Give me a story. Give me a chart, and I'll tell you the story behind it. Basically, what's happening in Bitcoin right now is a bunch of things, but I'll just be brief with the summary. Bitcoin usually in the bull market, what it usually does, it will test the 20 SMA, 20 SMA, 20 EMA a couple of times. This is the longest time in Bitcoin history that we've been in a bull run that it hasn't come back to test that 20-day EMA, SMA. And if you look right now, we're actually testing on it right now. The SMA, the 20 EMA and SMA is going to be moving up to 50K in the next week or so. So right now, you're just seeing the market balance at that level. The world's richest man decided to say Bitcoin is an energy-consuming monster. But what he doesn't realize is Bitcoin is it subsidizes renewable energy. What I mean by that is Nigeria has 456 billion naira worth of waste gas that we produce every year. And Bitcoin actually, one of the things it does, it does a good job at finding renewable sources of energy that are so mispriced, because the only people who mine Bitcoin in places where it's so cheap are the net marginal net marginal buyers of Bitcoin. So they basically are the only people who would have used that energy. That's why those people are using it. So a lot of the time when you see people like that say what they're saying, it usually has an agenda. So the price of Bitcoin is going down now. The stories, finance, all these things, but naturally Bitcoin tested 20-day SMA, EMA multiple times in the market. This is the longest it's ever been, about 180 days. It hasn't tested it since going up. In 2017, 2013, you see it test us 20 SMA about 4, 6, 8 times. So this is just, a natural progression in the market, nothing to worry about.
Okay.
And Elon Musk, honestly, he has a hidden agenda, has an electric company, and he's saying that, he has a space company, has all these things, and is telling us that Bitcoin's using all the gas. Come on, man. What about your rockets? What about,
What about the rockets? Okay.
Not a bug.
All right, Michael. Thank you so much. Thank God it's Friday. Let's see how the weekend goes. Thank you, Michael.
No worries, bro. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it is a cacophony. A mouthful.
Just wondering what Elon Musk's agenda is.
What is the agenda? That's the question.
Anyway, we're getting into the weekend. Of course,
Yeah.
we know that the cryptocurrency market does not sleep. It's
Nope.
still trading. So just wondering what we should be expecting this weekend, and perhaps the coin to watch.
Let's just expect volatility, because it's still FOD season. We don't know what the next FOD is going to be. So we just watch.
All right, we'll keep watching, and please, if you're playing, play safe. That's what we can say.
Exactly.
All right, that's it on the program for today, and of course for the week. Thank you for being part of it. I'm Chimeze Obi. Welcome.
And I'm Ladi Williams. Have a great weekend.